Hello dear Aries, this is your 2022 Astrology Horoscope. During this video, you will learn how the most important astrology events will affect you during the upcoming year. We are going to talk about Venus, Mars, and Mercury because all of them are about to go retrograde, and this is kind of a big deal, especially when it comes to Mars because this is your ruler. We are also going to talk about the ingression of the lunar nodes and how it can open the door in a new direction for you and how you can expand and grow and succeed in a brand new area. We are also going to talk about Jupiter's ingressions, which again are very important to you because Jupiter is about to be in Aries part of the year. And that's a big deal because Jupiter, of course, can bring you also expansion and growth and success and prosperity and happiness. And this is something that happens once in 12 years. So get excited about it. Plus, we are also going to talk about Saturn and the outer planets and their degree positions and how they can affect you if they are having any aspects with your sun or rising sign. And before we dive deeper into all of those events, I also want to invite you to check MarStars membership and join us. This is the brand new platform which is giving you constant access to new content, including live webinars, recorded courses, upcoming courses, and so many other things. We have a free trial, so please check the link below or go to marstars.net and sign up now. At the end of the video, I will share more details if you are curious about what exactly you are gonna get there. Now, with that being said, let's get to the beginning of the year. We start this year with Venus retrograde. Venus will be in Capricorn in your 10th house, and she will be retrograde almost until the end of the month, until the 29th of January. And Venus being retrograde can make us more emotional, more sensitive, and more focused on practical things, especially when it comes to your career and business, because Venus will be in 10th house. So during January, you need to be more careful with this area of your life and just know that you can take everything too personally, or you might get upset over something. And it's also not the best time for you to start something brand new, which is related to your career or business. You can use this time to fix something, to improve something related to your career, but perhaps not something which is about to start for the very first time. Probably you need to wait until January passes. The other important event is actually the end of the year. So look how interesting is that. We are beginning the year with the retrogradness and we end the year with retrogradness. And this one can actually be even more important for you because we are talking about Mars, and this is the ruler of your sign. So Mars will be retrograde after the 30th of October. So basically November and December. Mars is retrograde in Gemini and it will trigger your 3rd house. So those 2 months can make you refocus or change or fix something related to friendship, communication, some kind of small tasks that you are doing on a daily basis, also studies and social projects, including social media projects, anything that has to do with writing or speaking or all kinds of intellectual projects. Keep in mind that Mars being retrograde can sometimes bring confrontations or misunderstandings or people not really being able to do what they actually want. Mars retrograde can be either a little slow or there can be some kind of blockage. So it is a nice time for you to go back and fix things or restart projects related to, for example, some ideas you might have had in the past. If you have ever wanted to write a book or learn something, but you haven't really finished that, it's a great opportunity for you to go back and actually do it now. Next, we will talk about the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are very important because they can give us an idea of where we need to focus, where we need to concentrate. That's mostly the North Node. It's an area where you can expand. And also where you may need to let go of something, what should not be your focus. So the lunar nodes are changing signs after the 19th of January. So we might as well consider it as practically the whole 2020. And 2022, oh my God, we are no longer in 2020. So in 2022, for the most part, lunar nodes will be in 2nd and 8th house in your chart. The North Node in 2nd house can bring you new opportunities related to financial stuff, related to material and practical things that you can accomplish. So what's really important is to keep your connection with the material world. Improve your connection to nature, the physical body, pay attention to your own energy, to your own health. Those will be really beneficial things. And you can really expand. You can improve your financial situation. You can have more sources of income. And you may also become a little bit more practical. On the other side, with South Node in your 8th house, you should not focus so much on the invisible things or imaginary things or fears, or kind of like allow the shadow, the psychological shadow, to control you. Not the best strategy. Instead, you should focus more on gaining things and not rely so much on other people's finances or investments or resources and support. You really need to concentrate on saving and keeping things, instead of, for example, wasting or too much spending or just, being dependent on someone else. Your own financial independence is one of the biggest themes of 2022. Also, something very exciting is that around the end of July and the beginning of August, the North Node will be in conjunction with Uranus in your 2nd house. And this is a time when something rather exciting may come as an opportunity, potentially related to earning more money or having a new source of income or having more independence when it comes to financial matters. It is possible also that there might be instability. After all, Uranus really likes to change things and make them interesting and sometimes unpredictable. So that is also on the table. But if you are open for innovations and improvements, you can be more successful, more creative, more inspired, and that can help you also to improve practical things like your financial situation and some other results. So that's quite significant. And again, it's happening around the middle of the summer, July and August. Next, we are going to talk about Jupiter. So Jupiter is actually very active during this year. Jupiter will have a few ingressions because of the retrograde motion. And Jupiter is in Pisces between January and April, and then again November and December. During this time, Jupiter is in your 12th house. And this is a great time to focus on spiritual practices, on working something that's more personal, more private, something that's not necessarily noticed or seen by other people. But It's a great time for healing, self-exploration, spiritual practices, and it can be very, very rewarding. But the other part of the year might be even more interesting for you. Between May and October, Jupiter will be in Aries in your first house. And this is actually happening once in 12 years. This is the beginning of a new 12-year cycle. And this can be the time when you may start something, when you can initiate something, when you can feel more confident in yourself. You may step up, you can kind of like ask for the attention and recognition that you deserve. So it can help in so many different ways and levels. As I said, including confidence, the feeling of self-worth and value, which are really, really important if you want to be successful. And not only successful, actually, even if you just want to be happy, that's still very important. Plus, Jupiter in first house is a great time to start a new business, a new activity, a new project. Anything can be more successful when Jupiter is in your first house. So those few months between May and October can be especially important for you, Aries. Next, we'll discuss the aspects that Jupiter is having. Those aspects are actually very positive. Starting with February, Jupiter is having a nice aspect with Uranus, and they will affect your 12th and 2nd house, meaning that you can have a very good intuition, imagination, creative visions, which you can be able also to put into a concrete form or have some practical results coming out of this imagination, including some positive financial results and achievements. So that should be a great month for your productivity and for the results that you can achieve. After that, during April, Jupiter will join Neptune in Pisces in your 12th house. And this is such a spiritual combination, also very healing, very inspiring. It's a great time to work on some personal goals, anything that requires healing and processing, all kinds of spiritual practices. If you want to go on a retreat, that's an amazing time. You will be able to work internally and to heal, and this can also bring incredible feeling of fulfillment for you. So it is a pretty nice combination. After that, during May, Jupiter is having a positive aspect with Pluto, and this time they will trigger 12th and 10th house. So again, we switch the focus back to the more practical things. This time, career, business, social projects. But then again, there could be inspiration and creativity that may help you to achieve the practical results. So it seems like those months, especially when Jupiter is having those aspects, you can have this rare opportunity to have the insights and the creative ideas and the great imagination, and then use this to do something practical and have some real visible results. And that's a truly rare combination. So Jupiter can be very beneficial for you during 2022. Next, we are going to talk about eclipses. We are going to have 4 of those: April, May, and October, November. The main areas which are triggered are 2nd, 8th house. So again, resources, balancing your energy, balancing how much you take and how much you give. Also, the connection with the material world and the connection with the invisible world. Those are the things that you really need to balance. The April eclipse is a solar one in your 2nd house. This is very beneficial for doing something new because that's where the North Node is. So this eclipse will be more about focusing on the future and moving forward. Then the lunar eclipse during May is about the balance and perhaps reevaluating things, letting go of something that you no longer need, especially related to the past, working with trauma or negative habits or kind of like bad financial habits as well. And after that, the October eclipse is again a solar eclipse, but this time it will trigger the South Node. So this one will be more beneficial for healing the past and kind of like improving something there, working consciously on the more unconscious part and kind of like working with the shadow and embracing all of this. And finally, the November eclipse is a lunar eclipse, which will trigger again 2nd and 8th house, and you will need to balance those two life areas as well. But this time you can make some changes in the more practical area because 2nd house will be triggered by the moon. So perhaps you cannot remember everything immediately. First of all, know that you can always come back to this video if you need additional information or a reminder. But just know that we have April, May eclipses and October, November eclipses. And for you, the most important life areas are 2nd, 8th house. So as I said again, practical, invisible world, financial stuff, resources, energy balance, taking and giving. Those are the really important themes. Next, we are going to talk about Mercury retrograde. We have 3 full cycles. You know that Mercury is retrograde each year between 3 and 4 times, so nothing surprising here. Mercury will be retrograde starting from air signs, and in your case that would mean air houses. And then through the phase of the retrogradness, Mercury will shift the focus into a new house and a new sign as well. And that's pretty interesting and kind of different from last year. Last year, Mercury was retrograde only in the air signs. And now it's actually starting from an air sign, but then moving to an earth sign. Which means that communication, ideas, connections may go through serious changes. But then we also need to kind of like bring the focus more into the practical things like career, money, or all kinds of habits, responsibilities. And it's also very interesting that Mercury is about to be retrograde at the end of the year, so starting from the 29th of December, and Mercury will start the retrogradness from the exact degree where the first cycle has ended. So on the 4th of February, Mercury will be retrograde somewhere in the last degrees of Capricorn. And then it's kind of like starts from the same spot again at the end of the year. So perhaps there could be things that we need to reassess. Something from the beginning of the year can be again relevant at the end of the year. And overall, you do need to know these dates. You can, as I said, come back and just check them out, because those are the dates when you want to avoid new projects or some important big purchases, be more careful with contracts and all the other practical things. Now let's talk about Saturn. During 2022, Saturn will be in Aquarius between the 12th and the 26th degree, and it will be in your 11th house. So that means more focus, more practical and concrete steps when it comes to social projects, anything that has to do with your future visions, anything that has to do with friendship, with community work. And Saturn may bring some kind of disappointments or frustrations or things that really require more effort. So don't forget that Saturn does not forget. Saturn may delay, but Saturn never forgets. So if you're feeling kind of stuck or like you cannot do things as fast as you want, specifically related to this area of your life, just know that it's quite normal to be that way, but also you will get the things that you deserve at one point or another. And the good news is that Saturn will not have exact difficult aspects with the other planets. During 2021, Saturn and Uranus had squares with each other, and that, of course, was also one of the reasons why the year was kind of messy, as we know. But during 2022, they won't have exact squares, Saturn and Uranus. They are still in orbit, so kind of close to the square, but it's not exact. So maybe things won't pass as fast as we want, but they should be easier. They should go back to kind of like, well, back to normal. I'm not sure if that's really possible and how much time it will get, but there should be some improvement. So this is good news that Saturn will not have exact challenging aspects with the rest of the planets. Uranus will be in Taurus between 11th and 19th degree in your second house. This is mostly relevant to the practical things in your life, including money and resources and your own energy. And this can be good news, especially if you want more independence, if you are working as a freelancer, if you are working in the area of IT, technology, communication, or any internet-based business. Uranus can bring you opportunities and more variety and some interesting experiences, but at the same time, there's also not so much stability. So there are ups and downs, and you really need to be creative and open to changes. Neptune is between 21st and 26th degree in Pisces in your 12th house. So there are no major aspects between Neptune and your sign during this year, but it can be kind of like a background situation, helping you to reconnect to your intuition, helping you with spiritual practices, and also allowing you to connect deeper to your own creativity and intuition. So Neptune is kind of like in the background, not making something very, very significant in your case. And Pluto, which is, the big deal, will be between 26 and 29 degree in Capricorn. So it's very important whether Pluto is squaring your sign. And you can find that by checking the degrees. So Pluto is between 26th, 29th degree. You need to check where is your sun or rising sign in Aries. If it's around those degrees, those can be some very, very big transformations that you can go through. And they're never easy, they're never fast, but at the end they can be very rewarding. And just know that it's a healing process. Even if it feels like it's something different, like it's a huge challenge, or it's painful, or it's really, really difficult, at the end of the day, Pluto's job is to heal and to transform. And very often, of course, the process is not easy, but it's necessary. So if you happen to have your sun or rising sign between those degrees, this can be the most important aspect during the whole year, actually, for you. And of course, Pluto in 10th house can bring big transformations when it comes to your status, when it comes to your business or career, or everything that is kind of like visible in your life, like your reputation and, again, status and such things. So those are the big events of the year. Again, the summary. We start the year with Venus retrograde. We end the year, the last 2 months, with Mars retrograde. So those are the months that you need to be extra careful, especially the last 2 months. And also, it seems like you will have also opportunities to put yourself out there, start new things. Jupiter is very helpful for you during the year. Second, eighth house are also very important, especially second. So focus on practical things, the financial stuff, and you can really get more resources in every way. So interesting beginning and end of the year as well. Thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful year. Don't forget to sign up for your free trial for MarStars membership. It will give you access to all of my courses, including the natal astrology course. So it includes everything you need to know about foundational astrology and how you can interpret signs, planets, and aspects and houses. So we have more than 50 hours of lessons here, which will teach you everything you need to know about natal astrology. We also have karmic astrology course, which is a pretty extensive one and will help you to do more advanced readings. On top of that, you also receive access to live webinars. Each month, we are having a special webinar on an astrology topic and another one, which is a Q&A session. So you can come and ask all of the questions you have, which are astrology related. You get access to all of the pre-recorded courses, plus the future ones. And there are other surprises like monthly horoscopes. We have our community and also other spiritual courses and energy practices and much more in the future. So make sure to check the link below or go to marstars.net and sign up for your free trial.